marine national monument in the Pacific.
So we had our shore scientist, Kenneth Sulak, identify the shark we saw at the beginning of the dive.
Ooh.
All right.
I'm ready.
It's a species of tiger shark.
Oh.
Wow.
Steve, do you want to say the genus name? You're better at that than I am.
Awesome. Not used to seeing those letters together. Odontaspis.
Yeah, there
Oh,
you go.
a jelly.
Yeah.
Man, this is just massive rubble fields.
Yeah.
Zoom in.
I mean, there's some big fans up there. I mean, I'm trying to see if, you know, maybe it's getting fresher, might indicate that there's
Another one.
Yeah.
more live rubble up there.
Sorry to interrupt. I said tiger shark. It's sand tiger. Sand tiger
Ooh,
shark.
sand tigers.
Sand tiger shark. Sorry, please continue.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I see what you're saying there.
Bridge nav.
There seems to be more
Almost up
rubble in these areas.
Yeah.
We were seeing like patchier bits down below.
So when I worked on my fishing boat back in Massachusetts, we would actually, a lot of times when people would catch smaller fish and not realize that they were on the line, then we would have a type of sand tiger actually go after that fish and get hooked. And it was always interesting trying to deal with it because A, they have a lot of very sharp teeth, but B, they're protected, so you weren't able to bring it up on the boat. So you had to do your best to get the hook out of their mouth and
from the water.
Yeah, from leaving them in the water.
Sounds challenging.
Hopefully they would shake themselves out, but also if you left the hook in, I do believe their mouths have a slightly acidic or corrosive at least property to them that eventually the hooks can fall out.
That's pretty cool.
Ship's going up around north, right?
Yes.
Looks like about.
You want to come?
Strike is up this way. About 80 degrees or so.
Roger that. Bridge nav. Request 20 meter step bearing 080. Yes, cancel please. Thank you.
This was actually supposed to be the deeper of the two peaks too, and we've already exceeded the depth that we put this waypoint on the summit. I think the depth was supposed to be, what is a dive plan? 1047 was supposed to be the depth.
Steve, would you like a zoom on the edge of that rock with the pale patch, or is that not of interest?
Yeah, well, while we're waiting for the ship to move, can we zoom 5 o'clock? There's a white patch of coral and
I see.
Looks like a bunch of brittle stars.
yeah, a bunch of brittle stars. Just to make sure it's not doesn't have any live polyps. And it does not. Okay.
Zoom in there.
Tripod, maybe? Maybe not.
No.
Rat tail, we got the ID earlier from our shore scientist.
That's a gray rat, macrurid or rat tail in the genus Godomus. Godomus longiphilis.
Coming tighter. Full zoom.
Very pretty fish.
Mm-hmm. Now these sort of squiggly tracks that we can see, Steve, are those what we were kind of talking about in the mess the other day? That could be tracks from another type of mollusk?
I don't see
Like above
those.
the
Coming up.
fish.
I mean, there are some bare spots, but I don't think, yeah, I mean, it would be really, really obvious.
Full wide.
You know, it would be completely clear of sediment and debris.
Oh, so it wouldn't be like a trail of left behind debris that's
No.
sort of discarded after, like the sea urchins and sea cucumbers who kind of expel the sediment that they haven't absorbed.
That's right.
Okay.
It's more of, so imagine, you know, you have a fairly uniform level of sediment on the rock. Now imagine like one, you know, couple centimeter wide path, meandering path,
Got it.
is removed of sediment, essentially exposing the manganese crust,
Got it.
making it look like a, yeah, like a trail.
I spying the opposite sort of contrast.
Yeah, that was probably some sort of polychaete worm.
Okay.
They build mucus tubes that sometimes get coated with sediment.
Cool.
Can we zoom? I think there's some white stuff to the 3 o'clock.
Roger.
Right on the tip of that rock here.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think this might be our lucky day. Well, it certainly looks a lot fresher.
Is it the sole survivor?
That would be really sad. Any closer? Yeah, there you go. There's some live
Yay,
stuff. All right, live
polyps.
scleractinians. Yay.
Do we want a sample of it?
No, I mean, I can't even tell what it is. Any way we can scoot around to the other
Oh.
side?
Oh. Well, hello,
This is
handsome.
my scleractinian.
Yeah.
He's missing an arm.
It's
Yeah.
Yes, he
got
was.
in a fight.
Come wide. What did you want? Just scoot
Can we-
around the back?
Yeah, do a little pirouette and see her around the back.
Okay, you can punch in a bit.
It'll help me see the polyps a little bit better because we're on the back side of the colony now.
Go in tighter. Just wanted to see.
Yeah, so this is really kind of disappointing that there's only this much. It's so little.
Very,
I can't
very
see how it's
little.
branching very well here. Okay, so I'm satisfied with this view.
Okay.
We'll get some captures. So I actually think this is not any of the 2 corals I mentioned previously. This looks very much like a coral called Solenismelia that it has more of a brambly branching, brambly colony appearance and branching, but it doesn't have a very clearly defined polyp.
Rich
The
now.
polyps are pretty low to the skeleton. The calyces are
One more
pretty
step,
low
please.
to the axis. But that's strange because the rubble here didn't make me think about Solenismelia first. It looked more like an Elapsamia or Madrepora. We'll go a little bit more and see what we see. It's got to cap out eventually.
Yes, it's still just going and going. We're gonna end up at the surface at
yeah,
some
we
point.
gotta move to peak 2.
Looks like there's not much left to it. Seeing Argus sonar starting to flatten out, I think.
Yeah, I see it. Look at all the rubble.
Yeah, it definitely
Holy moly.
was a major city at one point.
Wow.
Reminds me of King's Landing.
Exactly.
It's a good sunset.
What's that to the right?
yeah.
Is that a rubble pile?
Yeah, that is nice.
Can we do one more move just to see if we can get up a little bit more? Or are we still moving?
We still got a little bit of this move left.
Okay.
If you check out quad view right now, you get the view from Hercules, a really cool view from Argus right now, and a sunset view. Got a winning set.
That glassy flow that came through here. Now at shallower depths, it probably recirculated, so it made bubbles that popped, made those circular holes in it as it was erupting. Another big crab.
Oh, I
yep.
see him.
Oh, wow.
Always like a 5-second delay from when you spot something.
Do you see 3 o'clock? There's a rock. Now it's a little about 4 o'clock.
Yeah, I know what you mean, yeah.
Yeah, do you think I can grab one of those if it's small enough
Maybe.
and loose?
Back off of it and see where I can get in there.
Just those mantis shrimp eyes.
Stop the ship, Chris.
Yeah, take them.
Yep. Bridge now. Crossway hold position.
We've got quite a few folks wondering what could cause such a big die-off, especially since we saw a really small bit of a live coral.
Chris is.
Unfortunately, Steve
Kevin,
just
is
left.
This the rock
No, that one's too
oh,
big.
That's huge. It's down in here, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's looking kind of big now that we're here.
Yeah.
That's not one in there.
There's
No,
one in there.
crack,
I don't
is
know
it?
if that's a loose one, is it? That's
Wait.
not a loose one, hey?
Yeah.
We could put a large rock in with one of our other large rocks. That one looked a lot more elongated than the
Right.
previous ones we've sampled. So we could distinguish it if necessary.
Yeah, that'd be great. I'm just wondering if that would even fit in the big rock.
They look huge.
Yeah. That looks like 30 centimeters. What about the one at like 1 o'clock right now?
Like up here.
Yeah. That's a nice looking rock.
This one.
Yep.
I don't know if I could sit here. Open the iris a little bit.
Is that Steve again?
Yes.
I think he caught the sunset.
Ah. And again, these rock samples are being collected so we can learn about the age of these sea
Zoom in there,
mounts.
video. Okay, happy?
Yep, that's good.
All right, full wide.
Oh, no, that's attached, isn't it?
From bubble view, it looks attached.
Yeah.
But I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, seems to be.
Are you still interested in grabbing a scoop while you're here, Steve? Yeah.
Oh, it moved a
There's a
bit.
little lift.
Did it wiggle?
No, I want to find the
A
peak of this
wiggle.
thing.
Okay.
Because if we find the peak, we'll find the live stuff, and if we find the live stuff, we won't have to grab any rubble.
Yeah.
That's my logic, at least.
What about this guy? Oh.
It's loose.
Yeah, this
You,
is
you
nice.
could just haul it. Well, no, you can't put it on the front porch because the miso's there.
You don't have another go at it?
I don't think the miso is on this dive,
Oh, the
is
miso's
it?
not there. It's just the bracket.
Oh. It won't fit on the front porch anyway.
What's the? Oops. What's the thought here?
I mean, if there's anything that can be grabbed over here, that'll work. But if not, then I guess we have to find another spot.
That one in front is loose, but it's huge.
Yeah, I think.
Let's see. Let's get a better look at it.
Yeah, I think that's too big.
I think it's massive. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I guess we have to move around and pull off. Everything's too big.
All right. Move the ship.
Roger that. Bridge nav. One more step, please.
And Steve, we've got quite a few people interested in what you think might be causing, all of this rubble besides, like if there is no alive coral on this seamount, what sorts of things could cause something like that? I remember you mentioned possibly the seamount lowering. Would that be a possibility, that it was a coral that lived at a shallower depth? But
Yeah, I mean, these are definitely deep water coral
Yeah.
skeletons. I'll let Kevin speak to subsidence and, how
I mean, it could. I mean, but subsidence isn't a quick process.
Yeah.
So you could have a little bit of subsidence and then a big change in sea level during a glacial period. But overall, I mean, these are expected at these depths, right? These kind of rubble. I mean, this kind of stony coral.
Yeah, I mean, it's absolutely the depth range. It's just that.
Yeah.
So, barring the fact that we haven't seen any live, well, we saw one live colony. I still think that there's probably some live material up there that's producing rubble.
yeah.
It just takes a while to roll downhill, and then once it gets stuck in these divots, it just stays there.
Yeah, and we did see some pieces that were covered in manganese, which is meaning that they've been laying there for quite a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's with all these brittle stars?
It's a party.
You want to zoom?
It's unusual, yeah. Let's give it a go.
Zoom in, please.
The rock here has an interesting,
It's got a mat on it.
yeah, something.
Could that be the base of stony coral?
Not deep water corals. Yeah. No, this. I don't know. It just looks like it has less of a coating than the other rock.
Could be oxidation.
Yeah.
But really low sedimentation right here, I would assume. You build up a nice manganese run.
I have seen massive.
nav.
Oh, hey. Little crab blending in.
Yeah, it's doing a good job.
So I have seen
Very
before
full wide.
beds of ophiuroids, but they're usually on very dense organic matter substrate. So there's a lot of organic material for them to feed on, but there doesn't seem to be a lot here. It just seems like aggregating on this little ridge
Zoom in there.
outcrop.
Is that relic again?
Relicanthus, yeah.
Good job.
Full zoom.
Yeah, so I think this, I don't know if it's this species, but at least this group, Relicanthus, has been found, I think, at least in the Atlantic, definitely in the Pacific. It might actually be more widespread than we think. It would be really cool if it was all one species. That would be one heck of a way to get around.
Yeah.
But it was first described from samples on the East Pacific Rise. It was thought to be associated with hydrothermal vents, but we now know that it's not necessarily required to have hydrothermal vents in its environment.
Bridge now. One more step, please.
Okay, yeah, full wide.
Nice. This has been an awesome dive, I gotta say.
I agree.
And the rock we are seeing is still volcanic rock. These different flows.
It's a fish.
It's another Oreo, looks like.
Oreo, yep.
Yeah.
And
More
Bersingid.
brittle stars. Is Bersingid the bigger one?
Yeah, that's right.
Zoom in there.
So much in this view. Cucumber, Oreo, Bersingid, brittle stars.
Echinopalooza.
Look at that, that's pretty.
Oh, cool.
That's full zoom.
So is this a type of sea star?
Yeah, it is. They're they're essentially in the same group as all other sea stars that you might find on the intertidal zone, or we've seen a bunch of sea stars. We collected a few sea stars on this expedition. They're all related.
Yeah, go ahead.
In fact, that Bersingid is more closely related to sea stars than those brittle stars are to that Bersingid.
Looks like an urchin moving around at the bottom there too. The first time I saw one of those Bersingids, I thought that it was some sort of crinoid, the way that it has its arms sort of up. And it's very cool.
I think I see the top.
Yeah.
And I'm starting to get a little sad.
Yeah.
I was hoping for the mother lode of corals on this little knoll.
And we're only 160 meters off of where the waypoint was.
That's crazy.
Are there any grabbable rocks in that pile right there? Or
Perhaps.
they seem kind of large from here though.
Oh, there's still more rubble. This is just a mystery.
Wow.
Zoom in there a little.
Yeah, I think there's something in
One
there.
right under the lasers now.
Yeah.
Bridge now.
You like that one?
Yeah.
Then there's a couple here, right?
Request we hold position.
Yeah, there's a few different choices here, so.
Okay, full wide. Stop ship there, Chris.
We are holding position.
Awesome.
So there are a couple structures that I see on the ridge to the left that seem to be like they could be coral bases or could have been coral bases at one time. They've really kind of scoured away. They seem to be really smooth.
Huh.
And thank you to everyone that's been hanging out with us at nautiluslive.org. Just a reminder that we are on Seamount number 1 here, Jarvis Seamount number 1, northwest of Jarvis Island in the Pacific Remote Islands Marine National Monument. We've been seeing a lot of life on this seamount, a lot of what used to be life on this seamount.
Oreos.
A lot of Oreos. You can see one sort of backing up to get in view right now. It's like, hey.
What are you guys doing?
Zoom in on the rock. Okay, what?
Are lasers on or off?
They're on.
They're on.
They're on,
Oh, I
just
see
not
them now.
on the
Okay,
rock, yeah.
got it.
We going for the bigger one?
Yeah, let's grab the big one.
Just come in a little bit. We're gonna make it drop some Alvin plates. Let's dive, I think.
We got a
A
little,
little
scrub.
bonus on there.
You might jump.
Oh, it's
Oh,
got a
you-
little,
I think it just jumped.
Looks like an oxidized
funny
film
shape.
basalt. Take it.
Would that be the
So,
manganese connecting to?
let's put that in starboard bio box E or F. Either one should be fine. It's got some good distinguishing features. So either of the large compartments.
Roger.
Yeah, the black parts of the rock are probably manganese, and then where it was buried, you still have what the actual surface of the rock looks like, which is going to be orangey, and then it'll get gray as you go into the interior of the rock.
Since it had that little like tiny piece connected to it, would that probably be manganese connecting to rocks?
Either
No,
side,
it's-
correct?
Either side should be fine.
Just a weird shaped rock.
Yeah, it's
It's
just has an
huge.
extra-
Huge.
Oh man, it's way
Close.
bigger than I thought it was.
Oh wow.
So might have to pick
we're
another
going to
guy.
be leaning a little bit starboard.
I don't know if the box is gonna close.
Yeah, the box has to close.
Is F a little deeper with that rock in it?
Yeah. Maybe the other one's better. I don't know.
Yeah, we can grab the other one. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
fine with that. That doesn't look like it's going to fit.
That won't go in either, I don't think.
Yeah.
Want to try? No, because then you
Then
won't
you
be able
gotta
to get
fish
it
it
out,
out.
will
Then I have
you?
to get it out and
Yeah.
let it go.
Yep, let it go.
Put it in
Okay.
a new place.
We have left our mark on the seamount.
Somebody can solve that mystery later.
I liked its little side bulge.
Me
Yeah,
too.
I know.
Definitely
It's
made
like
it easy to see.
BB-8.
Follow around with the bubble camp.
Yep.
Okay.
So we can grab one of the...
This
How about
is-
the angular one that's right to, let's say, that's the 4 o'clock from the lasers, maybe?
4 o'clock from the
Yeah,
laser.
you're kind of pointing
down
towards
here.
it. Yeah. Yeah, that one.
Zoom in a little.
Nice.
Oh, that was sad.
Oh,
I broke
See,
it.
now here you can see a nice cross-section of what the basalt looks like. It has that orange rind, and then it's gray in the interior.
oh yeah.
And
Cool.
the white bits are probably filled vesicles.
Much more manageable.
Yes. And still fairly distinct looking, I would say.
You see that tiny jelly?
Okay.
Yep, that looks good, thank you.
Either compartment is still fine.
Roger.
Excellent work, thank you.
No sweat.
So I am done with this feature. If Steve is, if you want to try to start shooting towards waypoint 3.
Yeah. I want to do one more move to see if we can find the peak of this thing. 'cause
Okay.
Looks
it
like you
still
already
goes
dropped
up a
a
little bit.
target here, Nav, correct? Okay, thanks.
And then we'll get there.
Go ahead and put that step in. Yeah, I figured it out. Pushing buttons, you know.
Good work.
Thanks. Bridge, Nav. Request one more step.
And the manganese crust that we've talked about with these rocks is a crust that forms over top of the rocks as the manganese comes out of the seawater. And it forms quite slowly. What was the rate of form again, Kevin? I always forget.
1 to 5 millimeters per million years.
1 to 5 millimeters per million years.
The primary source of the manganese oxides in the seawater come from mid-ocean ridges.
Oh, okay.
While the iron oxides that also form these crusts, the other half of the component, those come mostly from runoff from the continents.
Hmm.
The manganese has a slightly positive charge, while the iron oxides have a slightly negative charge, so they kind of aggregate together on solid surfaces.
Still seeing some more bases.
More rubble.
Yeah, I'm seeing where the coral colonies were growing. Some of the rocks have a white strip along
Like
the
the
top.
ridges of them?
Yeah, the ridges, yeah. It's off-white for sure. It's not fresh.
Yeah.
I think we're getting close though. Coral rubble just doesn't move uphill though, so it has to be coming from somewhere.
Yeah, on Herc sonar I got another little slight bit in front of me, but we're pretty much just up there.
Yeah. But the rubble seems to be getting less thick from the appearance on the seafloor, but Rob said to find it, so we'll find it. And then we'll go back and look at what the summit depth here was compared to our maps and see how much different it was.
Bridge, Nav.
There's another
One more
cool
step,
little
please.
crab on the rocks.
Oh, again, 5-second delay. I got it. Over to the right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so since that manganese crust does take such a long time to accumulate, those encrusted coral bases and things that we saw a little earlier would have taken a while to encrust. And a reminder, those green dots that you're seeing are our lasers that give us scale, and the 2 green dots are 10 centimeters apart. Helps us with perspective down here, and also when we're taking, close-up shots of some of the life and features down here, gives us more perspective on that. And Al is short for Alex, but I also like the way that it looks like AI when it's written out.
And Al are your initials.
Yes, it's true. AL.
Seems like we're losing the debris field here. All these divots are no longer filled with rubble.
Yeah, keep them coming.
It still looks, is that some debris still to the right there? And to the viewer wondering if we've come across anything strange on the ocean floor, I consider a lot of what we see down here very strange and interesting and cool. But on this particular dive, Steve has been interested in these rubble fields of coral that have kind of died and broken off and fallen down into these divots. So that's something that we've come across here. We're not seeing the full alive colonies, or we haven't come across them yet. So that's definitely something strange on this dive particularly.
Bridge now. One more step, please.
Oops, that's my tether.
Transfer speed's at a knot, so if I call them early enough, hopefully we should be able to get moving at a good clip here.
Yeah.
I get the feeling like we're just going around the summit, because it always seems to slope off to the right.
Yeah,
Right?
it's just big and basically pretty much the same height here.
Yeah. All right, well, after we finish this move, are we still moving or?
Yeah, we got a little bit left in this
All
step.
right. After we finish this one, we'll take a peek around, and if it looks pretty much the same, we'll move on to the next waypoint.
Sure.
Roger that.
Kylie, I'm just gonna pop up a bit. Just move Argus up if you have to. I wanna
Sure.
No
get a look
audio
at the
popped
sonar.
up. Oh,
Nav, what does it look like for distance to our next waypoint? Waypoint 3.
Waypoint 3 is 1,700 meters.
Okay.
Should be maybe a little over an hour transit if we go at a knot, or half a knot, I mean.
Yeah, that's due south. Yeah, so we just go around in the bowl, like you said. I'll come back. I'll come back there.
Alright, we're about steadied up. Do whatever looking around that needs to get done, and
Yeah, Steve, we're steadied up there, but I think, like you say, we're just in a bowl at the top here.
Yeah. All right. Can we drop back down, take a quick look at some of this rubble, like a good close zoom, and then we'll
Sure thing, yeah.
be off. Just so we have some good documentation, what it looks like. I don't think we need to pick any up. It's usually not really informative sometimes.
Gotten a whole bunch of it from recent NOAA expeditions.
Try and find
Yeah.
something closer to
No one has
Argus.
requested any.
So you store carbonate
Any
rubble
fossil
too?
coal, yeah.
Yeah.
If it's, as long as it's well dead.
As long as it's what?
Dead.
Dead.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we have rubble in our lab too from these types of seamounts, and trying to identify it.
Yeah.
You can generally get the idea from the colony, but to the species, usually you can never identify it to the species.
They're pretty indistinct looking.
Yeah.
if you're wondering
Oh, hey,
about.
there's a Slidenia,
Oh.
lower right-hand corner, another type of fish.
Oh,
Ah, cool. Good eye.
I think this is
Go ahead,
Slidenia.
zoom.
He is awesome looking.
it's cute.
Looks like a tadpole almost.
Mm-hmm.
And those fins in the back are those the ones that are modified to kind of help it scoot across the seafloor.
That's right.
What kind of fish is this?
I'll have to look for the common name,
Close
but the genus is Slidenia, I think. Let me look that up.
Is that a type of angler?
Yeah, it's a type of angler. Yeah, you
Yeah.
can see the lure on the
Yeah.
It's
in the eyes.
the pattern on it looks like coral pattern.
Yeah, it does.
You're not on SPL, Chris.
thank you, pushing buttons once again. Are those modified pectoral or anal fins?
Those are pectoral fins. Yeah,
Pretty cute.
Slidenia, yeah. I wanted to make sure I wasn't
Coming
just
out.
making up
Yep.
words here.
My favorite things are the ones that are like cute in an ugly way, like
Yeah.
bulldogs and stuff like that.
Blobfish.
Blobfish.
I like that one. You know how we talk about like spirit fish, you know? I like that one.
Blobfish.
No, no, the one that we just saw. That's why I was asking
Oh.
about the name. Spiky on the outside and looking lazy. Relatable.
And if you're wondering about, if you hear Chris communicating with the bridge, if you look in the quad view, you can see the Herc cam, the Argus cam, and then a view of the HIPAC map. And the red polygon is the ship, and below that are the markers of Hercules and Argus, and they all are working together to move us through this tract. So Chris is constantly communicating with the bridge along with the ROV pilots to understand, you know, where we're moving, where we're going, keeping the vehicles safe, and moving us where we need to go.
Is this the kind of rubbly stuff you're looking for? Or
Yeah, that's good enough.
just tight zoom in there?
Yeah, really tight, best you can give us.
Yeah.
That's full zoom there.
Okay. If you want it perfectly still, I can just come in and sit on it there.
Yeah, that's all right.
Pretty much on the ground here now.
Yep. This is good. Just a quick scan of this.
There's
Yeah,
some
so
bigger pieces.
I see mostly Madrepora here and bits of Solanus amelia.
And what is helping you identify these?
It's a combination of things. When
What do they call it? Gestalt, when you kind of see it, know it when you see it?
Probably, yeah.
From looking at them enough.
So there are a few things you can make out. We can make out the general branching characteristics, which ways the corals are zigzagging, where are they branching from in some cases. We can see where the calyces are. Do they jut out from the sides, or do they kind of go off the colony at an angle? Yeah, so that...
Is the calyces where polyps would be coming out?
Yeah, the calyx is the polyp. It's the stony part where the tissue resides.
Got it.
Yeah, but everything's pretty beat up here. So to me, this looks like Madrepora, and I'm seeing some small bits of Solanus amelia. Now that we had seen Solanus amelia up there, it looks like both are present here as well. There could be some Analopsemia in here too, but I just don't see the obvious Analopsemia branching pattern. Typically in Analopsemia, for example, all the calyces are pointed towards one side of the colony. So I think most of what we have here is Madrepora.
So again, we're zooming in on a rubble field of pieces of dead coral that have kind of collected in this divot on the...
Just to be safe, because I wouldn't feel right if I didn't do this. Can we slurp up a little bit?
Yeah, sure.
Just kind of vacuum up
Come
some
wide there,
chunks so we have a reference. I'll just do like air dry it afterwards.
Our viewers are going to be really happy because we've gotten a lot of messages saying slurp it, slurp it, slurp it.
Yeah. So on the left-hand side of where Mongo is, I think that stuff looks more biggish. But you know, any of this material we can make something out of.
Try and get over there.
I just don't know how big
Can
it.
you open the iris on the Argus, please? Thank you.
Herc, all slurp containers are available, so take your pick.
Okay.
Just let me know.
Carly, can you put it on 8 and flush it?
Okay. Gosh, I can do this. Is this correct? No. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right. I should,
Okay.
no, go back where it was. Yeah,
Alright.
that's right.
Okay.
So we're about to use a fan favorite tool here on Hercules, our slurp sampler. Sort of like a little vacuum.
Grabbing the
Always.
hockey pucks.
Always special with the
Coral
coral
cutters.
cutters on. In there.
Just love the fact that those are actually hockey pucks.
Zoom in there a little.
You gotta use what you got.
All right, have you flushed that?
It is being flushed. Okay. Back to 0. Again.
Hold on, let me see. How high did you have it up?
I had it at 30.
And they say Canada on them.
Okay, yeah, shut it off.
Okay.
And rotate around to number 1.
Gotcha.
And that looks good.
Okay.
All right, and just get ready to fire it up.
Sounds good.
Come a little bit more wide there. Yeah. Perfect. All right, you can turn suction on. This what you want? Like a line across here.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Okay, 30%.
Try 40 or 50.
Definitely check out the quad view right
You've
now.
got 50
Turn it off for a minute.
off.
Mm.
Okay, back on.
Actually, you
Back
know what?
on. You got 40.
That piece was actually pretty telling. So do you see how all the polyps are on the other side?
Yeah.
That might indicate that some of this
Okay,
actually is
what have we got it on?
analepsemia, which
Can you
would
put
make
it up
sense.
to
Good.
Yep.
60, 70 maybe.
Yeah.
The slurp wiggle.
I sure can.
Okay.
Okay, all done?
You want more?
Yeah, a little bit more.
Okay.
All right.
I don't see any falling into the jar yet, or is it just me?
Okay, you got 40?
Some
Yeah, I don't-
small bits there.
50?
I only see the small bits. Yeah, now that we're slurping it, it looks like a lot bigger pieces of rubble than I thought it was.
Yep.
It's all breaking up as it goes in, I think.
That's all right. All right, I think.
What have you got it on now?
It's on 60?
70 or 80?
Oops, that's 100. 80.
Okay.
I clicked too many times. Okay.
You
All
want
right,
more, or
I
you
think
okay?
I think that's enough. Yeah.
Okay, all set?
Is,
Yep.
0?
So yeah, shut it off and then rotate it back to the flush jar.
Gotcha.
Is there a fish swimming around the slurp containers?
Nav, can you drop a
Did you see
target?
that, Steve?
Yep. I
Did
did
you
see a
label
fish.
it 068?
I got it.
Awesome. Thanks.
In there. Can you write down on this sheet to when they're doing their post or pre-dives to just have a good look in that suction line? Because a lot of that stuff was branchy. I could see some of that getting stuck in there.
Okay.
We'll take whatever you flush out.
Sure.
You can have it. It's all yours.
So the plan now is just to truck it to waypoint 3.
Roger.
Where, you know, not, we were reasonably certain that most of the stuff in between here and 3 over the 1.6 kilometers is soft, and we really want to just check out that second peak.
Okay.
All right. What speed would you guys be
So
comfortable with?
that sounds like you guys are happy to just come off the peak and we'll be off the bottom, but we can do 0.5 until we get down to the plateau on the bottom?
Yeah, sure.
Roger that.
And then we're going to leave the 8 to 12 with
A good transit.
yeah, some time to do their introductions.
Bridge nav. Request we track a line bearing 143 at 0.5 knots.
Apologies to the 8 to 12
Alright,
watch. We
bring your
don't
head
do it on
around.
purpose.
Yep,
It
143.
just happens that way.
Thank you.
Got it.
If you assure them that enough times, sometime they'll believe you, Steve.
I've had to sit enough blue water in the 12 to 4 for the past few days that gonna share the love a little bit.
It's okay. The 4 to 8 definitely knows sediment and ripples.
All
Oh,
the
yeah.
ripples.
All 4.
Angloid. Sinusoidal. And I forgot the other ones.
Lingoid.
I said that one.
Oh.
And sinusoidal, and then the
Straight.
there's another one. Catenary, thank you. Thank
Catenary.
you. What's with the swoop?
There you go. See, it's not just viewers at home learning. Everyone here in the van is learning. As we dive here on Jarvis Seamount number 1 in the Pacific Remote Islands Marine National Monument. And a note, we are in a Marine National Monument.
Watch the hill is on your starboard side, right?
Right.
Just watch that now as we start going forward. It'll come up.
Sounds good.
Which does mean that we have particular permits to be in these certain areas. And as we're moving along here, our snack today was brownies.
Delicious brownies.
Did someone ask?
Multiple times,
Yes.
yes. Was waiting for the right moment to drop that in there. Jamie quite enjoyed her brownie.
I was excited because the brownies had nuts on them, but then they also made some brownies without nuts.
And
Can
how
you-
did you find out?
I found out from you, Kylie.
Thanks.
Shout out to yourself.
So humble.
I think one of my biggest weaknesses is that I'm too humble.
Why are you laughing?
Good turn of phrase.